When you think of Brazil, you might picture beautiful beaches, Carnaval, and soccer. But let's be honest, there are some absolutely brutal stereotypes about Brazilians that need addressing. From the workplace hustler who has a cousin for everything to the beach vendor who won't take no for an answer, we're diving into all of them. These are stereotypes, so Brazilians, feel free to roast me in the comments. The Jeitinho professional. Meet the Brazilian professional who treats every rule like a suggestion and every deadline like a negotiation. They've mastered the art of Jeitinho, which basically means finding creative workarounds for absolutely everything. Need a document that normally takes 3 weeks? They know a guy stuck in bureaucratic hell. Their cousin works in that department. The best part is they call everyone meu amigo in formal business emails, and somehow clients love it. They show up late to meetings, but charm their way out of trouble within 30 seconds. Timelines are viewed as aspirational guidelines rather than actual commitments. But here's the thing. This creativity and networking actually leads to innovative problem solving that rigid corporate systems completely miss. While others are stuck following protocols that make no sense, the Jeitinho professional is already 3 steps ahead, getting things done. The malandro. This is the ultimate Brazilian hustler who's never held an official job in their entire life, but somehow always has money. They know how to get anything done through connections, charm, and a network that would make LinkedIn jealous. Traffic ticket? They know someone. Need concert tickets that sold out months ago? Give them 20 minutes. They're so smooth they could talk their way out of a police station while holding stolen goods. The malandro shows up to important events wearing full white linen, expensive cologne, and dark sunglasses despite claiming to be completely broke. Ask them what they do for work, and you'll get 5 different answers, none of which makes sense. They've turned avoiding traditional employment into an art form. But honestly, the malandro represents Brazilian creativity and resilience in navigating an impossible economic system where formal jobs barely pay enough to survive and bureaucracy crushes legitimate business. The government worker. The funcionario público is stereotyped as someone who works maybe 3 hours per day maximum, with the rest dedicated to coffee breaks and personal phone calls. They're impossible to fire thanks to job stability laws, which means motivation is optional. Simple processes that should take 10 minutes somehow require 6 months, 4 different departments, and 17 signatures. They've mastered the art of looking busy while accomplishing absolutely nothing, complete with strategic paper shuffling whenever a supervisor walks by. Ask them a question and they'll tell you to come back tomorrow, then next week, then sorry, wrong department. The stereotype is that they're basically getting paid to occupy a chair and make your life harder. But the reality is the few dedicated ones are genuine heroes, holding an underfunded, politically interfered system, together with pure willpower. They deal with impossible workloads, outdated technology, and citizens who are rightfully frustrated, yet somehow keep essential services running. Government workers, defend yourselves in the comments because I know most of you are actually trying your best in a broken system. The Copacabana Beach. This is Brazil's most famous beach where everyone wears tiny swimwear regardless of body type, age, or what conventional beauty standards say. Confidence is mandatory. Self-consciousness is illegal. The stereotype is that thieves are working in organized teams eyeing tourists who look lost, waiting for the perfect moment to grab phones and bags. Illegal vendors are everywhere selling everything from grilled cheese on a stick to designer knockoff sunglasses, while police pretend not to notice. The beach has its own economy, where nobody brings a wallet, just enough cash stuffed in their swimsuit for caipirinhas and fried shrimp. Teenagers are playing soccer with professional level skills. Elderly people are doing full workout routines, and someone's definitely blasting pagode music from a Bluetooth speaker. But here's what makes Copacabana special. It's one of the few truly democratic spaces in Brazil where a kid from the favela and someone from a penthouse apartment swim side by side without anyone caring about social class. The beach vendor pictures someone carrying what looks like 50 kilograms of product while jogging through hot sand yelling their goods at 120 decibels. They never, and I mean never, take no for an answer. You'll say no obrigado 15 times, and they'll still circle back 20 minutes later with renewed enthusiasm. They've got chants and songs for every product that will haunt your dreams for weeks. Biscoito Globo, Agua de Coco, Mate Gelado, Picolé. The beach vendor has the persistence of a telemarketer combined with the athletic ability of an Olympic athlete. They're working 12-hour days in scorching heat with no benefits, no sick days, and no guarantee of income. They'll sell you a beer so cold it hurts your teeth. Caipirinha mixed right there in a plastic cup, or mate made with mysterious ingredients they swear are natural. The hustle is real, and honestly, you have to respect the work ethic. These people are feeding their families through pure determination and refusing to give up despite heat exhaustion and rejection. The motorbike courier. The motoboy treats traffic laws like they're merely suggestions written by people who've never been in a hurry. They drive between cars with maybe 2 centimeters of clearance on each side at 80 kilometers per hour during rush hour. Physics doesn't apply to them. They'll deliver anything, anywhere, anytime with absolutely no questions asked about the contents. The stereotype is they're completely reckless and will definitely cause an accident eventually, yet somehow they never crash, despite driving like they're qualifying for MotoGP. They know every shortcut, every back alley, every way to shave 3 minutes off delivery time. During rain, they're still out there. During protests, they find alternate routes. During apocalypse, they'd probably still deliver your acai bowl. They're weaving through traffic that's completely stopped, hopping curbs, going the wrong way down one-way streets. But the truth is, motoboys are the backbone of Brazilian logistics and make e-commerce and food delivery actually work in cities with absolutely chaotic traffic, where cars would take 3 hours for a 5-kilometer trip. They lived abroad for 6 months. This person spent 1 semester doing an exchange program or worked at Disney World for a summer, and now won't shut up about how Europe or the United States does everything better. They suddenly can't eat Brazilian food without complaining that it's too heavy, too salty, or not organic enough. They pronounce Brazilian words with a forced foreign accent now, like they forgot their native language. Ask them anything, and the answer starts with, well, when I was in Berlin, or, in California, they do it differently. The Netflix shows they watch are too mainstream, the music Brazilians listen to is too simple, and our coffee culture is somehow inferior. They worked at Disney for 3 months and act like they held an executive position at a Fortune 500 company. Their Instagram is entirely throwback photos from the trip captioned with things like missing my second home. It's incredibly annoying, but sometimes, and I mean rarely, they actually bring back genuinely useful perspectives on infrastructure, public services, or systems that Brazil could realistically improve. Just like that Jeitinho professional's cousin who can fix anything, these people know someone abroad who could totally help with that. World Cup game day. When Brazil is playing in the World Cup, the entire country literally stops functioning. Hospitals run skeleton crews, businesses close early or don't open at all, and politicians reschedule sessions. The stereotype is that productivity drops to 0, and nobody's even pretending to work. If Brazil loses, there's a national depression that lasts 3 days minimum, where everyone's analyzing what went wrong and blaming the coach. If Brazil wins, fireworks go off at 3 in the morning, car horns honk for hours, and people are dancing in the streets until dawn. Wearing the opposing team's jersey during a Brazil game is genuinely dangerous depending on the neighborhood. The superstitions are intense. People wear the same unwashed shirt for every match, sit in the same spot, and refuse to jinx anything by being optimistic. Fun fact, crime rates drop to literally 0 during matches because even criminals stop everything to watch the game. World Cup Day is like Brazil's version of a national holiday, except way more important and emotionally intense. It shows the incredible passion and unity that transcends all the social divisions, economic classes, and political disagreements that normally split the country. The soccer obsessed everything. This person cannot function on game days, and their productivity drops 80% whenever their team is playing. They will literally fight you at a Boteco over whether Flamengo or Corinthians is superior, and these arguments can end friendships. They know every player statistic going back to 1950, can recite legendary goals in detail, but somehow can't remember their spouse's birthday or anniversary. Their entire emotional state depends on weekend results. Team won? Amazing mood, generous, life is beautiful. Team lost? Don't talk to them until Wednesday, they're mourning. They own the full team uniform including socks and shin guard despite never actually playing, just for watching matches at the bar. Their WhatsApp profile picture changes to the team logo during championship season. Kids are named after famous players, weddings are scheduled around game calendars, and family gatherings become tense when relatives support rival teams. But here's the beautiful part. Soccer creates genuine cross-class unity and pure joy in a country dealing with heavy economic and social problems. The shopping mall food court. Brazilian shopping malls are treated like tourist destinations where people get dressed up fancy just to window shop with no intention of buying anything. The food court is full of teenagers making one acai bowl last 4 hours while taking selfies. Security guards have this annoying habit of following around anyone who looks suspicious, which unfortunately often means black people and anyone from poorer neighborhoods. The air conditioning is set to Arctic temperatures, so you need to bring a jacket when it's 35 degrees Celsius outside. Families spend entire Sundays there because it's one of the few clean, safe, climate-controlled public spaces available. The food court is its own ecosystem, with the same chains repeated in every mall across the country. People are eating Burger King while sitting 3 meters from an actual churrascaria. Everyone's on their phones, nobody's talking to each other, but somehow it still counts as quality family time. The mall is where middle-class Brazilians go to feel wealthy, and where wealthy Brazilians go to feel normal. Despite the security issues and the dystopian consumerism vibe, malls genuinely provide accessible safe spaces in cities where public infrastructure and parks are either lacking or not maintained. The Brazilian politicians are stereotyped as professional thieves who steal everything that isn't bolted down, and sometimes the bolted stuff too. They only appear in your neighborhood during election season, suddenly caring deeply about issues they've ignored for 4 years. Family dynasties are everywhere, with the same last names holding positions for 40 years straight, passing power between siblings, cousins, and children like a family business. The quirk that kills me is how they change party affiliations 6 times per term, like they're changing shirts, hopping from one political party to another based purely on convenience and survival. They promise schools, hospitals, and infrastructure, then disappear the day after elections with your vote and public funds. Corruption scandals break weekly, and somehow they're all still there next term. Their social media is full of staged photos pretending to care about regular people while driving luxury cars and taking private jets. These are just stereotypes, and obviously, not every politician is corrupt, but the system makes it incredibly hard for honest ones to survive. The young activist politicians actually trying to break this cycle and implement real change deserve recognition because they're fighting against decades of entrenched corruption with almost no institutional support. The WhatsApp fake news ant. The Todd who Zap forwards 47 conspiracy theories before breakfast and believes absolutely everything she reads without question. Fact-checking is communist propaganda, according to her. She types exclusively in all caps with 17 emojis per sentence, usually crying laughing faces or prayer hands. Every message is urgent, supposedly backed by doctors or scientists nobody can verify, warning about dangers that don't exist. She's convinced the government is poisoning water, vaccines cause autism, and some politician is secretly controlling everything. Political debates and family WhatsApp groups are her Super Bowl, and she comes prepared with screenshots from sources like patriotnews.blogspot. The dedication is honestly impressive. She sends good morning images with glitter roses and Bible verses at exactly 6 in the morning daily without fail. Her phone storage is 90% forwarded videos she hasn't watched, but felt morally obligated to share. She gets genuinely upset when you fact-check her, because she's trying to protect the family. The redemption here is she's not malicious. She genuinely cares about family safety and well-being. She just has absolutely zero media literacy skills, and grew up in an era before needing to verify sources online. The churrascaria. Brazilian all-you-can-eat barbecue restaurants are basically eating contests, disguised as dinner where self-control goes to die. The stereotype is people are flexing wealth by how much premium meat they can waste on their plates. Staff silently judges you if you flip your card to red, meaning no more meat, before consuming at least 2 kilograms. There's this unspoken pressure to keep eating until physically painful, because you paid for unlimited, and by God you're getting your money's worth. People arrive strategically hungry, some even skipping breakfast to maximize capacity. The salad bar is a trap for amateurs. Real veterans know you avoid carbs and save room for picana. Everyone's doing mental math calculating if they've eaten enough to justify the price, while the meat keeps coming. Waiters walk around with giant skewers like medieval knights offering 18 different cuts you can't pronounce. You're eating meat you didn't know existed from animals you've never heard of. Everyone leaves walking like pregnant penguins. Unbuttoning pants is mandatory. And talking about how they'll never eat again, yet booking the next visit. Despite the excess, churrascarias genuinely bring families together for celebrations and create quality time over shared meals and laughter. The favela entrepreneur. This person runs 5 completely different businesses from the same 2x2 meter space and somehow makes it work. They can fix your cracked phone screen, sell you lunch, cut your hair, and recharge your bus card without moving locations. It's cash only, absolutely no receipts, definitely not paying taxes, and inventory appears magically. They somehow always have exactly what you need in stock, despite the shop looking chaotic and disorganized. Need phone charger? Got it. Nail polish? 3 colors available. Eggs? Fresh this morning. The versatility is genuinely impressive. They've created a one-stop convenience store that adapts to neighborhood demand. Their business hours are whenever they feel like opening. Could be 7 in the morning or noon. Pure vibes-based scheduling. Pricing is negotiable depending on how well they know you, and credit is extended based purely on trust and reputation. The shop might be smaller than most people's bathrooms, but is doing the revenue of a medium-sized retail chain. These entrepreneurs have incredible business instincts and resilience that would make them millionaires if they had access to capital, formal education, and weren't fighting against a system designed to keep them informal and marginalized. End of month. Bill payment week. The last week of every month, Brazilians are suddenly broke and living exclusively on rice, beans, and eggs. Bank queues are 2 hours long, with everyone paying bills, transferring money, and trying to make accounts balance. Lottery ticket sales absolutely skyrocket because it's the only hope of escaping the cycle. Middle-class families are juggling 8 different payment plans, robbing Peter to pay Paulo, moving credit card debt around like chess pieces. Everyone becomes a financial strategist figuring out which bill can be paid late with the smallest penalty. Electricity or internet, tough choices are made. The fridge gets emptied, restaurants are abandoned, and suddenly everyone's cooking at home and rediscovering recipes. Gas station visits are strategic, putting in exactly 20 rays instead of filling the tank. Outings are canceled, Netflix becomes the primary entertainment, and social life dies until next paycheck. People are checking bank apps, obsessively watching the balance drop to terrifying numbers. WhatsApp groups go quiet because nobody can afford to go out. But here's the thing. This shared economic struggle creates genuine solidarity and humor, where people bond over being equally broke and support each other through the month's final desperate days. The Carnival Street Party. Carnaval blocos are absolute chaos where public urination happens everywhere and streets become open-air bathrooms. It's pickpocket Christmas with thieves working the crowds, knowing everyone's distracted, drunk, and carrying phones. People are too hammered to stand by 2 in the afternoon, but somehow keep dancing until nightfall. The streets are covered in trash, beer cans, and glitter that will never fully disappear. Portable bathrooms have lines 50 people deep, so everyone just finds an alley or tree. Someone's definitely passing out from heat exhaustion combined with alcohol and dehydration. The music is deafening. You can't hear the person next to you screaming directly in your ear. Grandmas in full glitter costumes are dancing next to shirtless 20-year-olds in a beautiful display of absolute chaos democracy. Social barriers completely dissolve. Everyone's sweaty and touching strangers. And somehow it's acceptable. Phones get stolen, wallets disappear, but people are too happy to care in the moment. Ambulances can't get through crowds. Police gave up trying to control anything. It's pure organized anarchy. The redemption is this represents pure collective joy and cultural expression that exists nowhere else on earth, with this intensity and this genuine mixing of all social classes celebrating together. The day after Carnival, the entire country is collectively hungover and nobody's actually working even if they showed up to the office. Streets look like a zombie apocalypse happened with trash everywhere, abandoned costumes, and confused tourists. Everyone's swearing never again until next year when they'll do the exact same thing. More people call in sick this single day than the entire rest of the year combined. It's basically an unofficial national holiday. Those who do show up to work are physically present, but mentally still at the blocko. Productivity is 0. Everyone's moving in slow motion, and coffee consumption triples. Social media is full of people posting photos they don't remember taking with people they don't remember meeting. Bank accounts are empty, livers are destroyed, and feet are covered in blisters from dancing in inappropriate footwear. The phrase "I'm too old for this" is repeated by people of all ages. Group chats are comparing damage, who got robbed, Who ended up in which neighborhood? Who's still missing? Despite the physical destruction and financial regret, it creates a collective cultural experience that bonds the nation through shared suffering and incredible memories that last until the next Carnaval cycle begins. The telenovela star/influencer. Brazilian influencers and telenovela stars are stereotyped as having undergone 6 plastic surgeries before turning 25. They exclusively date other famous people or millionaires. Relationships are basically brand partnerships. Every meal, every workout, every blessed moment gets posted with strategic lighting and flattering angles. Their career consists entirely of showing up to inaugurate refrigerators at supermarkets, cut ribbons at store openings, and promote teeth whitening products. They're always grateful, always blessed, always living their best life according to captions. Sponsored content is posted hourly, but they pretend it's authentic recommendation. The cosmetic procedures are obvious but never admitted. It's always good jeans and drinking water. Their homes look like furniture showrooms. Nothing appears actually lived in. Relationships are announced with professional photo shoots, then end 3 months later in vague posts about growth and new chapters. They're crying about bullying while posting from luxury resorts. That cousin who can fix anything definitely hooked them up with their first TV appearance. Some influencers genuinely use their platforms for social causes, representing diversity and breaking into media spaces that traditionally excluded darker-skinned Brazilians, and creating real positive change even if their methods seem superficial. The playboy/patrocina rich. Brazilian kids have never used public transportation in their lives and genuinely think the subway's dangerous and dirty. They speak Portuguese with a Miami accent, despite being born in São Paulo and never living abroad longer than summer vacation. They got jobs at dad's company and pretend they earned the position through merit and hard work. Their entire worldview is shaped by gated communities, private schools, and international trips. They complain constantly that Brazil is underdeveloped, corrupt, and backwards, while contributing absolutely nothing to society or any solutions. Their biggest struggle is deciding which European country to visit next, or whether the new iPhone color matches their aesthetic. They treat service workers like they're invisible, snapping fingers at waiters and speaking rudely to cleaning staff. Building a career means managing dad's Instagram for the family business. They drive luxury cars gifted for 18th birthdays and complain about traffic caused by public buses. Their charity work is posting photos at NGOs once per year. Some actually do break from family expectations, recognize their privilege, and use resources to genuinely help others through funding education, supporting social projects, or fighting for systemic change. The Botiço owner. The Boteco owner runs a bar that's technically open from 10 in the morning until 2 at night, but realistically it's 24/7. They know everyone's business. Their bar is Gossip Central headquarters where neighborhood news spreads faster than WhatsApp forwards. They serve beer so cold it hurts your teeth and food so fried it hurts your arteries, but it tastes incredible. The quirk that amazes me is their tab system, based purely on trust and memory. They never write anything down, but never forget who owes what. Someone could run a tab for 2 months and they'll recall the exact amount, including that extra portion of Torresmo from 3 weeks ago. They're unofficial therapists, listening to relationship problems, work complaints, and family drama while pouring drinks. The Boteco opens early for workers grabbing breakfast, stays busy during lunch, and transforms into Party Central at night. Regulars have assigned seats that everyone respects like unspoken law. These bars create genuine community spaces where people from all social classes actually mix, talk, and become friends in ways that rarely happen elsewhere in deeply divided Brazilian society. The summer blackout season. Every summer when temperatures hit peak levels, the energy company acts shocked by record heat. They absolutely knew was coming and the power goes out. Food spoils in fridges with zero compensation from the utility company. You just eat the financial loss. Poor neighborhoods always get their power restored last, sometimes waiting days while wealthy areas are fixed within hours. Everyone suddenly becomes an amateur engineer, loudly explaining exactly what the government did wrong and how they'd fix the infrastructure. Social media explodes with complaints, memes, and people timing how long their neighborhood stayed dark compared to others. Candles sell out at stores, flashlight apps get downloaded millions of times, and generators become status symbols. Apartment buildings without backup power are unbearable. People sleeping outside or in their cars with air conditioning running. Productivity crashes, internet goes down, and everyone's just melting and miserable. The heat is oppressive, there's no relief, and you're stuck sweating in darkness, wondering why you live here. But watch what happens. Neighbors start helping each other immediately, sharing generators, offering freezer space for medicine, checking on elderly people living alone, and creating genuine community support that shouldn't be necessary, but shows Brazilian solidarity. The public hospital, waiting room. Brazilian public hospitals have you waiting 11 hours to be seen by a doctor for a 3-minute consultation. Patients are literally dying in hallways because there aren't enough beds or staff to handle the volume. The system is so broken and overwhelmed that people give up and go home, deciding to just deal with their medical issue untreated. You arrive at 7 in the morning hoping to be seen by evening, but midnight arrives and you're still there. The chairs are uncomfortable, the environment is depressing, and everyone looks defeated. Bathrooms are disasters, vending machines are broken, and the air conditioning barely functions. You're given a number and watch it not move for hours, while wondering if the system froze. Staff is overworked, underpaid, and dealing with impossible patient loads that no human should handle. People are bringing entire meals, blankets, and entertainment because they know it's an all-day commitment. Everyone becomes best friends through shared suffering, exchanging life stories, phone numbers, and complaints about the government. Despite everything, the doctors and nurses working there are performing absolute miracles with practically no resources, outdated equipment, and overwhelming demand, making them genuine heroes. The evangelical pastor. The new wave evangelical pastor drives a luxury SUV while their entire congregation takes overcrowded buses to service. They preach prosperity gospel, promising that donating money to the church will make God bless you financially, which conveniently enriches the pastor. Now, they're running for political office with zero government experience but massive church backing. Their services have production value better than most concerts with lighting, smoke machines, professional sound systems, and choreographed performances. They're wearing expensive suits, Rolex watches, and living in mansions while preaching about humility and sacrifice. The theology is questionable, mixing Christianity with self-help motivation and thinly veiled threats about what happens if you don't tithe enough. They're on television, radio, and social media, constantly expanding their empire and influence. Critics call them charlatans exploiting desperate people's faith for profit and power. The church buildings are enormous modern structures, while community members struggle to pay rent. Some pastors genuinely do help communities dealing with addiction and poverty, providing support systems and resources that government programs fail to offer, even if their methods and motivations remain controversial and problematic. New Year's Eve. At the beach, everyone in Brazil wears white on New Year's Eve and heads to the beach to jump 7 waves for luck in the coming year. They're throwing flowers into the ocean as offerings for Yemanja, the Afro-Brazilian goddess of the sea. Fireworks displays are so intense it genuinely looks like a war zone. The sky is completely white from explosions. Perfectly rational people who don't consider themselves religious suddenly become deeply superstitious about the wave-jumping ritual and which foot to enter the water with. The beaches are packed shoulder to shoulder with millions of people celebrating together. Everyone's making wishes, hugging strangers, and genuinely believing this ritual will change their fortune. Champagne bottles are popping, music is blasting from every direction, and the energy is absolutely electric. People are dressed fancy in all white, wearing flowers in their hair and jewelry dedicated to Yemanja. The celebration mixes Afro-Brazilian candomblé religion with Catholicism and general superstition into something uniquely Brazilian. At midnight, the entire country stops to count down together regardless of social class or background. It represents collective hope for a better year and the beautiful cultural syncretism that defines Brazil, showing how different traditions blended into shared celebrations that bring millions together in optimistic unity. So yeah, those are all the negative Brazilian stereotypes. Some are definitely true, some are exaggerated, and some are completely unfair. Brazilians, let me know which ones I got wrong and what stereotypes I missed, because I know there are plenty more. If you enjoyed this, subscribe for more stereotype breakdowns and drop your favorite Brazilian stereotype in the comments.